School subjects are often taught in isolation from each other. This over-contextualization is a barrier to knowledge transfer. Students find it difficult to see the relationship between subjects when they are not given guidance, opportunities, and practice in finding the links. Time to learn. It takes time to learn a concept. Even the most talented individuals invest a lot of time to practice to develop skills. Covering too many topics too quickly may cause problems. Such problems include a lack of connections and organization of principles. Learning just can't be rushed. Foundations. Transfer is influenced by the degree of mastery of an original subject. Without it, transfer can't be expected. However, students may misinterpret new information based on previous information. Prior experience can be a barrier to knowledge transfer. Cultural or home life factors may also inhibit transfer between school and life. Oversimplifications can also hinder a student's ability to transfer. For example, students who are taught the Bohr model of the atom and are told the third shell can hold 8 electrons often have a very difficult time understanding electron configurations later in school life when we teach them that there can be 18 electrons in the third shell. This inhibits their ability to move forward with this new information. Oversimplifications like this, set from prior years, form a barrier and interfere with the student's ability to see things and transfer what they do know into a new context. Understanding versus memorizing. It is easier to transfer information and make connections to content students understand versus information that is simply being memorized. The learner needs to be engaged. Simply telling students the information they need to know limits their ability to internalize the knowledge, therefore limiting their ability to transfer the knowledge. It is also challenging as a teacher to ensure that students are constantly understanding the information that is being presented to them rather than simply memorizing it. Performance versus learning. Sometimes we focus too much on the end product of certain learning experiences, such as when we use a test or a quiz, rather than how the students are learning. Transfer is viewed as an active and dynamic process rather than a passive process. Simply telling students the material they need to know limits their ability to internalize the knowledge. Studies have shown that a cycle of exploration, or inquiry work, followed by an explanation and application of the material will increase the opportunities for students to be able to transfer knowledge. In addition to inquiry-based learning, metacognition is required for transfer. Overly structured classes inhibit metacognition, presenting the information in isolation of the world at large. If students are encouraged to and required to make connections, transfer is increased. Motivation to learn and relevance. The amount of motivation a student has affects the amount of time that student is willing to dedicate to learning. Motivating students to learn can be a difficult task, especially when the student does not find the content interesting. School subjects tend to remove the relevance of the material for many students. They present the information in an artificial manner, also isolating knowledge. This removes an opportunity for students to see how the knowledge is transferable. Authentic activities provide the student with experience in seeing the material connected to the wider world. Finding the right balance. Finding the appropriate level of challenge to hold a student's interest can be very difficult. If the content is too easy, it is boring. If the content is too difficult, it can be very frustrating for the student. Finding the level of challenge that is just right for your student